Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing Season 1 of Jaguar. So before I head into my thoughts and feelings on this first season of Jaguar, just a quick disclaimer, I don't plan on having any type of spoilers in this particular video for this show. So yeah, continue to watch as you will. So yeah, let's get going. Jaguar Season 1, you guys. This was a 6-part Spanish TV series that aired on Netflix recently, not too terribly long ago, and I freaking fell hard for it. I loved it, and I did. I just wanted to share it with you guys to make you guys aware of it, especially if you have a Netflix account and perhaps you haven't heard of it or weren't made aware of it or whatever. So yeah, what exactly is Jaguar about? I shall read my synopsis from my notebook here, you guys. So yeah, Jaguar, as I already mentioned, it is a Spanish action-adventure TV series taking place in Spain in the 1960s, following a young woman who is a Holocaust survivor who joins a group of other survivors as they seek justice against the Nazis who fled after World War II. Hell yes, this was great. And what you also have to know, as I've mentioned a couple times now, it is a Spanish TV series, so it is in its natural native language, which I loved, and it is definitely best to listen to it with subtitles. You know, don't listen to it with dubbing or whatnot. Definitely listen to it with subtitles. That is definitely the preferred method for sure, so you can hear what the actors are, hear what they're kind of doing with their performances, and the emotion they're lending to these characters and how they're saying stuff, because I think dubbing doesn't capture that. The dubbing does not capture the performances of these actors and what they're thinking and feeling, As I've said at the top of this video pretty much, I freaking love this show. It was super fun, you guys. And that may sound odd because I done told you that this takes place after World War II in Spain, and, following Holocaust survivors, hunting down Nazis and whatnot. You would think this would be very dark and dramatic and very serious, but it's actually a rather bizarrely fun show. Not that it's like laugh out loud and crazy hilarious or anything. I mean, it does definitely have moments of great humor and silliness, but there's almost like a black comedy to it almost, a dark comedy, which I loved. And it's just a super fun show. It's fast and fun, weirdly fun. There's all sorts of action. It has a very adventure type of element to it. The show, the way the show was written and how it's kind of directed and even how it's performed, I think, just all of that, there's this quality to the show that it almost comes across like another, like other types of things kind of within this genre, like movies or TV shows, like, hey, let's go rob a bank. We need a group of people to go rob a bank. Hey, we need a group of people to go rob a casino, It has that sort of flair and quality to it, like a heist film or a heist TV show or whatever, however you want to think about it, It has a very heist type quality, but instead of these characters robbing a bank or robbing a casino or something like that, any sort of heist type thing, instead of these characters doing that, they're going after Nazis. That's their heist, if you will, and it's just so brilliant, so clever, and I think there are a couple other shows out there right now that do something similar, because isn't there a show on, I've not seen it, but I think there's a show on Amazon, I think it's called Hunters, I believe it's called Hunters, and this is an American show though, and it takes place in maybe the 60s or 70s, and they're hunting down Nazis and everything too. So yeah, this show I think is very comparable to something like that if you've seen that show. But yeah, this show, you guys, I can't praise it enough. I just loved it. It was just great from start to finish. The episodes are not too terribly long, because every episode comes in like under 45 minutes or so. And yeah, there's only 6 episodes, which I was very upset about. Let me tell you, I was upset that this was only 6 episodes because every episode flew by and I wanted more, and this show better get a second season. I definitely need a second season. And what I just also really loved about this show, because it's taking place in Spain after the aftermath of World War II, essentially. And a lot of times you don't see too many movies or TV shows tackle the aftermath of World War II. You know, you don't see that very often. So there was something about this show that I just kind of found really refreshing, you know, even though it's tackling very familiar territory in a sense, but like tackling it like after the fact, you know. So I just really found the show refreshing and brilliant, and just seriously, just so great. And I've never watched a Spanish show before. I've this past year it's been weird this year because I've actually watched quite a number of foreign television, which I have been loving, you guys. I think I've discovered my new passion is foreign television, especially like historical period dramas, you know, since that's my preferred genre. I'm really digging discovering new foreign television because I'm finding that I'm loving it. And a lot of what this show is tackling, not only the aftermath of what was going on in Spain during, or sorry, after World War II and whatnot, what it's also tackling is just Holocaust survivors in general, what they had to face, what they had to endure, how the survivors all handled their own personal demons and their own personal traumas, you know, and how things affected them, how it affected their families. So yeah, I love what the show is doing with that as well, because every single one of these characters, they have some sort of deep trauma, they have some sort of deep PTSD and whatnot, naturally, of course. So I'm going to go quickly through the cast really quickly so you guys can kind of get an idea of the type of characters that inhabit this world. Up first is a character named Isabel. I guess you would say Isabel is the lead of the show. The show, it's really an ensemble piece, if you will. It's definitely a heavy ensemble, but I would classify Isabel as kind of maybe your big lead in some ways, because she's the first character you're introduced to, and she's kind of the one character that you're really heavily into her point of view at times, I feel like. But yeah, our main character Isabel, played by Bianca Suarez. At the very beginning of episode 1, we see that she is going after one Nazi in particular. Because this man, and this is not a spoiler, because if you've seen the trailers for the show by chance, the trailers downright spoil this, because this is the whole premise of the show and whatnot. But yeah, you find out that Isabel is a Holocaust survivor. She was at hopefully I pronounce this correctly, the Mauthausen concentration camp, and she actually became like a maid to a Nazi officer and whatnot, and his family, and her father was brutally murdered by this one particular Nazi, so she's after this one particular Nazi because she wants to get vengeance for what he did to her father and whatnot. So yeah, she's about to kill this guy, but then this is when this mysterious group of strangers appear and stop her and whatnot. And I love the character of Isabel. She's strong, independent, she knows what she wants, she's going to do whatever she wants in order to get what she wants, essentially. She wants to go after this guy who killed her father right in front of her eyes. But she also, a big thing she kind of learns throughout the season is patience. She has to learn patience, because as I said at the start of this first episode, she is going after this one particular Nazi who killed her father. And she is just going after him with a bloody vengeance, you know, not thinking clearly or anything. She doesn't really particularly have a plan. She's just kind of rushing right into it. Damn the consequences. So yeah, this mysterious group that then we're next introduced to, this next group of characters, it's kind of their whole thing, that they're this mysterious group, that their sole mission as a group is to hunt down Nazis one by one and bring them all to justice, essentially. And their thing is, hey, we don't want to just straight out murder these people, you know? Because where is the justice in that if we just blindly murder them with a cold rage, you know? Where is the justice? We want these Nazis to be put on trial. We want it to be public. We want people to see these people's faces and have these people feel guilt and shame, you know? Don't just kill them. And I kind of like that. I like that whole premise of this show, that is they're not murdering. You know, they're not murdering for the sake of murdering, because that would make them no better than the Nazis, you know what I mean? So I love that their whole thing is, we want justice, we're going to do it as well as we can to get them out there in public view, you know? I love that whole thing. So yeah, our main character Isabel, that's kind of the big thing she has to learn through this season. You know, she has to learn patience and self-control, and don't let her blind rage get ahead of her, essentially, and kind of destroy these missions when it comes to these Nazis that they're hunting down, you know? So yeah, I loved Isabella as a character. She was such a great character. And then our next main character, his name is Lucena, and he's played by Ivan Marcos. And he's definitely, he's kind of like middle-aged. I think he's probably about in his 40s, I was thinking. I think he was probably about in his 40s. He's kind of the leader, essentially, of this group. And he definitely has his history as well. What camp he went to, because I think they said he came from Auschwitz. I believe he was in the Auschwitz concentration camp, is what they said at some point in the show. And yeah, why he's going after Nazis and everything. So yeah, he has his own set of skills and standards and whatnot. I loved him as a character. And yeah, the show definitely set up this possible link between him and Isabel, that as the show progresses into further seasons, they might possibly have a romance. Who knows? Next up, we have Oscar Casas, who plays Castro. Castro is the youngest of the group. He is pretty much a baby, and my understanding of Castro is kind of, as you kind of learn in those first couple episodes of the show, he actually did not get into a concentration camp at all. He was kind of born right there at the tail end of World War II, essentially. But yeah, he's avenging his father. So yeah, I loved Castro in this group as well, because even though he wasn't personally, like, himself affected, like he was in a concentration camp, the thing is, he knows people, his family were survivors or victims, you know, so yeah, he's seeking justice as well. Next up, we have Adrian Lasta, who plays Sordo, or Deaf Man, as they kind of nickname him in this episode, because we find out fairly early on that he can't speak at all because his tongue was ripped out. Ew. And that's kind of as far as I can go with that, because this character definitely, he's definitely a very fascinating character, because he has a very mysterious background as well. He too is a survivor, but you kind of get this hint that there's just something deeper and darker under the surface that he's not quite telling us. So yeah, I loved the dramatic twists and turns of his character as well. And then up next we have Francesc Garrido, who plays Marseille, and he's like the oldest in the group, and he's actually having a lot of struggles with his faith. I really loved his function in the group, because he's almost like this father figure to everybody, especially Isabel, you know, who, as I mentioned, she lost her father during the war and whatnot. So yeah, a lot of times she goes to him for advice and whatnot, and I love that kind of father-daughter relationship there. Everybody kind of almost treats him like the father in some ways. And then our last main character is Stefan Weinart, who plays Otto Bachmann, who is pretty much the main Nazi character that we see throughout this first season. Oh boy, definitely a great, fantastic villain. You just absolutely hate this dude, you despise him, you're just waiting episode after episode after episode for our main group of characters, like, okay, how are they gonna get this guy? How are they gonna tackle him, you know, if at all, you know? So that's kind of the big thing of the first season, you know. When are they gonna get this guy? How are they gonna get him? You know, is he just gonna take off? Is something else gonna happen? You know, you're just constantly up in the air with this character. So yeah, that's pretty much it for your main characters. I don't want to sit and go too much into all the characters, because that's kind of, like I said, it's only 6 episodes, you guys, so you can't really sit and delve too much into all the characters and their personal issues and traumas, because a lot of that is slowly revealed throughout every episode. You know, every character kind of gets their big moments, their big reveals and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the show, you guys. I just wanted to make you guys aware of it if you weren't aware of it already. Check it out on Netflix. Definitely make sure you listen to it with subtitles. And please, 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 Netflix, I need a season 2 of this show because it was brilliant, it was clever. I just love the fact that it's bizarrely fun, okay? I can't repeat that enough. It's bizarrely fun, the way it's filmed and written and everything. Just, it's almost absurd in some places. Just the choreography for the fight sequences. There's huge set pieces that involve like chase sequences or running around or big huge wild and crazy gunfights. It's crazy, you guys, and I loved it. Everything about the show is just so well done. Writing, directing, acting, set pieces, everything, locations. Oh my goodness, I love the show. Definitely can't recommend it enough. And yeah, if you've seen the show, you definitely got to talk to me about it, please. So you guys, that is it for my thoughts and feelings on season 1 of Jaguar. In the comments below, please tell me if you've seen the show or if my review of it got you interested. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.